Okay. Let me see here. I can open the software list to everyone. I'm open the software list to have you running.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, come on in. Yeah, how's it going? Pretty good, pretty good. Nick Raphael. Kevin, do introductions. Raphael Rodriguez, Cop Finley, we're listening today.
Nick Hall, I'm a CAD manager for TRC, which we're up on the second floor here.
Right upstairs.
David Rogers, I'm the senior survey tech for the survey group here at Company.
Jacob Pressman, I'm a CAD tech for MWM.
Josh Thompson, CAD lead for Stantec.
I'm Brandon Cantrell from Big Red Dog, WGI. I'm senior designer over there.
Okay, and I'm Ishka, City of Boston. Jack of all trades, Mr.
Yeah.
Master none, hopefully.
We point the finger at you all the time.
Yeah,
It's your fault.
to me, yeah. Okay, let me see this one, minimize this one. Okay, that one's open, Seal 3D. This is 16, it runs on any version for me, but yeah. Let me see here, OpenRoadsDesigner. What's nice about OpenRoadsDesigner, it's some nice stuff about it and some bad stuff about it.
Yeah, so I guess Ishka's been driving through this all week long, trying to get this set up for ORD. And looks like you got most of it knocked out? Or
Yeah, yes, I have like pretty much of the city. What I'm trying to get, is the filter finish for, for everything. And we started, I guess, back like, when I came working for this in 2012, we have our coding, it was all over the place. We had to like pretty much 30% or 50 or 60% of the work was done in the office, connecting dots, doing all stuff. A bit of survey databases too, but they're not fully functional. So pretty much I took the whole field code list and I revamped it. I was like, I cannot work with this stuff. I want to be able to categorize data. Not everything it's edge of asphalt. Or I want to be able to categorize to be like edge of road like asphalt. I want to be able to categorize to say like this is the driveway asphalt, this is a parking asphalt, so I can classify the data rather than all in one single place. So pretty much I came up with like new field code and it's let me see if I can go in here Word. I can go in here and look at my. So this is the. Okay, why? Do you want to remove from the list? No, I don't want. I don't have access to the end drive here. I have access to that. So, for the this is the Survey CAD standards manual that you're gonna be coming soon, like be available soon again. We have a Survey CAD standard that's already with our service package, but it was dated back 2017. It was actually 60 pages. So anybody who was doing work for the city on CI projects, you're required to use the survey standards. 60 pages, now you're gonna go back from 60 pages to like 160 pages. So it kind of jumped a little bit, because it looks like lots of stuff I have to kind of spell out every single stuff, where you have to put stuff, do this stuff, because if it's not in the, let's say, the project, not in the project, in the contract.
right.
I'm gonna get stuff. So pretty much it's like, it's like, okay, in the contract we can say whatever stuff, but in the contract it's like, use the Survey CAD standards and Survey CAD manual.
Yeah.
The Survey CAD manual becomes part of the contract. So anything I write in the Survey CAD manual, it's part of the contract.
Once you get the lawyers involved, then it always gets more complicated.
Yeah. So what I can do, so what I did here is like pretty much, of course, we run on NCS. We have a Geopak set up, important considerations. When it comes, let me see, other for requirements, state lane, deliverables, what we require from people.
What version of Civil 3D are you currently supporting?
We're supporting everything from 16 to 2020.
Okay.
So pretty much, I'm making all the development for survey or for any kind of startup, in 2016, and then I push it through like 17, 18, 19, 20. But we let's say our standards, our standard version is 2018. But
Okay.
if our people that running something but earlier, we also provide the same stuff with earlier stuff. We kind of try to help the people out. Otherwise, it'd be like I don't want to have them, upgrade stuff if, if I'm not on maintenance or some stuff. It still produce some data out of stuff. Okay, so I said like about considerations here. Yeah, one of the things that we said in here, it was like pretty much, the deliverables should be like, for the survey, when it's like surface versus grid. If it's a surface like ground data, we want, the data to be delivered in scaled at the same rate on the site, not the 0, That's in order to help out the guys from GIS. So pretty much, when it's a point on the site, hold the same stuff and scale around it.
We do that as a standard for everything except for text docs. So the only people that want anything from 0.
Because I guess it's 0, and then you send to the GIS guys and it's like, where's the scale factor? Stuff. I'm like, it comes, if for small projects and stuff, it's in the right place. For like long linear projects, it's gonna have an issue because it's the whole scaling. But we have layers, we have plus stars. For plus stars, I say like, I don't know if you guys use CDBs or STBs. We use STBs, much easier to manage. Like it's easy to understand for user. It's a color black shape. That's all it does. Okay, we have the block library. Then I guess the one which comes is the field codes. So you're gonna see here like field codes that we use and you say like we use some common ones, back and curve. Yeah, so about BC there. Now you're gonna see like the ones that I've categorized. You say like BGs for building line. So a BG and anything that has to do with building, it's under a BG code. So it'd be like finish for FF, BG, char, PH. So pretty much everything is BG. It's one sense of building. And the same way for like let's say utilities, communication. I start with CO based on the line, and any stuff that comes out of the CO, it would be part of the communication. Junction box, manhole, miscellaneous and stuff. So this is pretty much how I organize my code. As I said, like I have a driveway code. So if a driveway, asphalt, concrete, gravel. So I can classify it, saying like the guys, the JS wants, all the driveways. I can send all the driveways because we're already classified in the right layers. We have a layer for driveways, we have a layer for parking lots, we have layers for roads, for trails, sidewalks, everything. So because of a tiny, of course, and you can see like I have lots of layers where I even have codes for what's called here for striping, paper markings. So I could actually, this one I could actually map like the turn arrows and all that stuff. The guys in the GIS guys want that stuff. So sometimes we do that mapping from aerial and stuff. So lots of extensive codes right there. You can see some of which ones were part of the DTMs and stuff. But we have all the data. We start in Sylphid, line codes. Pretty much, this is the line code, whatever you're gonna use, break lines or non-break lines. Stuff it's defined in there. Okay, line code sets, I guess it's like Sylphid is kind of limited on this one. You have like, start to whatever, continue, end, and close. We use the typical ones. We don't kind of expand too much in that one. Of course, if you go to Geopak or OpenRoadsDesigner, they give you extra stuff that, they could help you and stuff, I don't have, and I guess, maybe Geopak and OpenRoadsDesigner have maybe the most, I don't know. Because I look also the Trimble, they have some other stuff too. Like non-tangential curve and the whole stuff. Smooth curve, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not bother with those ones. PCPT.
Nobody uses in the field.
Varve, I do not bother too much of them, so I have those ones. Coding guidelines, you see like we did some of this stuff, control property, where should it be placed, how you should code it, check, the whole stuff. So pretty much, spells and stuff, roadways, how you should call it, type of asphalt, type of concrete, but not codes used for defined edges. They're just shots on the asphalt or concrete. So when I go to tons of break lines, pretty much specify the whole stuff. So I put here all the, like, how it should be coded, and I guess this takes the bulk of the whole stuff, and then I provide at the end, like, how you should prepare the Sylphid data, what's the survey point groups, what they do, service management, the ability is managed. Pretty much, we done the fact that, you provide me a Sylphid file, but if you don't have Sylphid, let's say you run on Carlson or you run on some other package, I give you an option of what you're supposed to provide me from that one, So I need, the code, the point file coded, according to our standards, and I do 3D faces because I'm, with 3D faces I can reconstruct, my surface at any time. So, but this is about the manual, and you can go get into the, let's say, into like Sylphid and the whole stuff. Let me see. I have Sylphid in here. Let me see somebody.
Anybody have any messages?
Oh, we can share a screen. Good. I should have had to share my desktop too. Share your desktop. Okay, let me know when you guys see it. Okay. Okay, sharing. Everybody can see it? Okay, so hopefully they can see it.
Yeah.
Mm,
Tom Adams.
great.
Thumbs up.
Okay. So maybe I'm not gonna record the other this stuff. But Seal 3D, as you see, and I guess I showed you the Rafa, pretty much, all the data, all the setups that we run by locally on C drive. And the only stuff it does, pretty much, right now I'm connected to VPN, to the network. So the only stuff when I run the software, it checks, my local standards against the network one and copies the changes. And then it starts the software. So all the time, your stuff. Of course, if you don't have access to the network, it just runs the latest version of what you have on your machine. So this is the same, it's the same one for AutoCAD, OpenRoadsDesigner, or Geopak. The same exact one, local setups and questions. Let me see here on this one. See, so if I go to Autodesk, I'm gonna have Seal 3D, and I have each version of stuff, and each of these ones has its own setups and stuff. So when the user is in the office, it just runs the stuff the first time, and then just runs the bits and pieces that are necessary to add the data. So this is for, if I go here under, let's say, Bentley, if I go to Seal, Geopak, I'll have, my SS2, SS4. Looks like now they have SS10s, pretty much is SS4 rebranded as what's called client, the connection client. So now it's activated through the connection client. It's pretty much the SS4 rebranded as SS10. And basically, if you run the SS10, I guess if you run SS2, keep up with microstation SS4. Otherwise, if because it looks like the issues that I had, when I had the microstation SS4 with Geopak microstation SS10 with Geopak SS4, we had issues with errors in the Geopak. So yeah,
I think we're hoping to move to that this fall.
So the way I did, for us, I made the development for Geopak, I made the development for the SS2, SS4. I just provided a little bit of stuff. I don't even bother with feature definition SS4. I just jumped straight to OpenRoads. I was like, I don't care, what these guys do. So I was like, straight to OpenRoads. So right now, pretty much I'm supporting, let's say, SS2 and OpenRoads. Okay, so we're gonna go in here. Let me see what can we see in here. We're gonna go to the start. So we have a template, that to start from. It's a simple one, the project inside. This template inside of it has the key codes, key code set, all the labels, styles, and all that stuff. And pretty much what I got from the Word file, it's placed in here. Then if you have specific something to see, but yeah, I'm gonna just open here. So if I go point, I'm gonna say point styles. It's I don't know, somebody from the city.
Everything is prefix COA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could say the idea is why is prefix COA is not because we are pretty much, let's say we're a department within the city, or a division within the department within the city. So pretty much we're part of the public works. Now I guess some people, let's say in a watershed, they might have their own stuff. And maybe some other departments, but what we try to do is we try to come up with a common standard core, like something like Seattle has, where interdepartmental, you might have some, like small differences, but across everything we want to get some layers, layers, blocks and stuff. And that's one of the reasons, for example, that Aston Water, they're gonna use our standards.
Right.
For survey and also design. So
right. Well, but if we see styles that are prefixed with COA,
yeah, so pretty much it'd be
That's
COA.
helpful for us, because when we do have some data that comes in not layered correctly or whatever, I can go through there and actually find out what I'm looking at.
And we recommend people, lots of time people, I recommend people, with those stuff, to use this template as a starting one, to not start with 2D one and try to bring stuff in, just use this one, you don't need the whole stuff, don't need it, but yeah,
right.
We try to, give the stuff, for them. Now, all this one, all the symbols here, all the data here is the block library that we have, they're not annotated blocks. So pretty much, we know that all of our designs of all of our plans, are made on a 20 scale. So our blocks are made, specific on a 20 scale. We do it the right way at 20 scale. So since we know for us, the city, we generate 20 scales, everything is 20 scale. So non-annotative blocks, we use annotative stuff for text and stuff. But for blocks, it's, just true scale 1 plus stuff. So because of it, Yeah, if you have to use a 10 scale for stuff, you might have to scale some blocks around, or make it into stuff, but most of us, we use the 20 scale. Of course, I know the benefits of annotated stuff, but yeah, we don't bother with the right at this moment. So the key code sets and stuff, so we can use the survey databases, the survey database, set up and stuff. But sometimes like for example, I can do like here insert the points. I'm gonna say like create point file, proxmal file. I can do for the database. We have the survey database set up so they work the right way. So I'm gonna go here to let me see. I'm gonna find the temp. If I find it, I'm gonna go here to all files, and I'm gonna change it maybe to this one. And you can see that we have our own. What I'm doing here is like usually my point file format. It's a specific one. I do not use a PNEZD. I use pretty much a modified PNEZD one.
What do you modify?
And I'm gonna show like what I modified. I find it what it is. CUA driver. So pretty much what it does for the stuff you're gonna see driver. I see like pretty much loading, listing, elevation, description, and then field notes. So the way I do it sometimes, what happens like when I get like from consultants the codes and stuff, they might not match fully when I'm thinking it should be the codes and stuff. So what I'm doing like I'm taking your codes, I copy them to another column. So I do not modify your codes. I was like, okay, this is the original stuff, and then in my raw description I put the codes that should be and stuff.
Yeah.
But I still keep on the original, your original codes.
Yeah, we ran into that where we had a surveyor, doing record information on the site, and they couldn't get, the columns.
It happens. It's like sometimes.
So it'd be real handy to be able to move, shift that over.
So pretty much you move stuff, put extra columns and stuff. It helps you in a way to like keep the original one and stuff. If I come back later, it's like hey, you modify a point. This is your point. This is what you actually call out in the field.
Right.
Because sometimes what happens like in one issue that I have is maybe with the landscape trees, the diameter and stuff. It's like this is what you call in the field. And this is what it should be, so pretty much, because what it should be, like, maybe the calculation is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can do stuff, I put the calculation, but I do not modify your code because I want to have a record of what you actually put. That's one way of the stuff.
We use that we require our guys in the field to use a lot of attribute data.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to set that up for ours to be the raw description and then that extra attribute data.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff that you've gotten from us in the past, that column has already been used with whatever. It'll have, details of it's a manhole. It'll have certain details on there that we make them collect with every point.
Okay.
Boundary corners will have a bunch of stuff that we need to fill out, and then that all ends up in that attribute column.
Yeah. So that's like I guess if you go like the Trimble way, you can expand on the codes and stuff.
Right.
That attributes. Of course, you can leave the Trimble, for example, for the trees when you code the trees, give the stuff, not as attributes, and then still really takes care of the scaling and all stuff.
Right.
But the attributes makes it like say standardized across the field. For example, like and I'm gonna show you what I did here for the trees in a way. Pretty much, for the trees, I have like the requirements for the diameter. I have a required field for the for the species.
Mm-hmm.
But the species, I define your list of species. So because I want, this how the way I want them to be shown, so because live oak, it should be live oak, it should not be just oak. It's specific, and if you don't find it, you have to expand somewhere else, yeah. But yeah, so I have, PNEZDN, I have the points, the point groups, so I'm gonna put like, I put just a survey, whatever the date, this kind of stuff, I do not do elevation adjustment, maybe I have to change modify it on a template to not have that one set. So this is the zoom extent here. Zoom extent. I don't know why I have stuff because I have something at 0, and at 0 I have something that's supposed to be filled by the surveyors and moved to the right location. So this is the one, pretty much when it comes in and stuff. What I'm required on stuff is just a sample with your control points and give me the data right there. It has to be in the CAD file. Yeah. So if it's a grid or if it's a survey, ground survey, I want to know all of it.
Yeah.
So I agree with stuff here. I'm gonna just delete from here. This is made again for 20 scale. It's much easier to just. So I have the data in here. Like my stuff. I'm gonna change here the display maybe to black. So maybe people go blind. But this one it's a 20 scale. You're gonna see if I have my trees, but I have my my meters and stuff. So it's all good on this stuff, and it does the job for it does the job for me and stuff. And what's the stuff? And of course, what I did here for our typical text height is like, it's 0.1, on a 20 scale is what height of 2 and stuff. But because all this like small data, it's lots of data for like, the elevation code and stuff. But it's stuff, pretty much, there's the only place where our text style, goes to like, it's almost like a quarter of a regular height, It's only for that specific one.
Yeah,
Because I should be able, to go around and stuff, to go around, so stuff.
points are always too bright.
We like, better circles for the points rather than the X's. So the X's, too many X's on top of each other, so it's much easier, and this like is small and stuff. So with the stuff, of course, I could go through the processing method one. Let me see in here. I'm gonna go maybe start a new like survey database here. Should I go start with survey database to show you? Or should I go to the pass with the other one to kind of give you an idea of that?
Either way, was there anything you wanted?
No, I mean, it's kind of, our line coding and all that works great with their template. You kind of have to do it through the database to get it to work correctly, but that's what.
Anything about processing that in Trimble before?
We do a lot of our actual process point editing and stuff in TBC, because you can bring the feature code library into there, and then you can process all your line work and everything in that as well. So we've already done all of our point editing and everything before we actually get it into, well, depends on what we're looking at, really. You just have to work with theirs. We have our guys collect everything with our point codes. And then we just edit them in the office because it's easier. It's easier for us to do it afterwards.
Yeah, the Excel does a very good job with this stuff.
Yeah.
Finally plays into that kind of stuff, And so I'll have.
You have an issue with people like triple coding points or using more than one? 'Cause we'll do that a lot if it's a common meeting point of a back to curb and a handicap ramp or whatever.
We don't have an issue with that because, like our filter finish is made, to use like double codes. So for example, let's say like,
Right.
I have a back to curb one, and then for back to curb one, it'll start sidewalk. Or
Right.
maybe driveway. So it'd be like, it'd be back to curb one, and it'd be like driveway asphalt start.
Right,
So pretty much, you can do the whole stuff, it works, amazing.
right.
Kind of stuff.
I think CAD you can do up to, I want to say
I don't know.
6. Microsoft actually cuts off at 3, so we don't let our field guys do any more than 3.
I don't use more than 2 anyway, but
Yeah.
pretty much because there's no reason to use this stuff, so. But so if I go in here, I'm gonna go maybe let's do this one here, survey database. I'm gonna say here, import survey data. I'm gonna import the same file. Let me see here. I'm gonna say it's a point file. We can go to this one, find this file. Now what I did for Geopak is pretty much I did the escape code for Vetan to be like a / because the stuff, and I guess I have to recode my point for Geopak to have just the code, and then the rest of them to be after like the comment and stuff. But let me see here. PNZ, where are you? I always lose it in here. PNZD. Am I missing here? Oh, Rival is cool. So you're gonna say next. I guess next. I do not care about this stuff. So pretty much I have this one. Use the COA line by import order. I'm done with stuff here. Insert figure objects, and then I get the survey points. I'm going to just say finish, filter finish, and usually like for surveys right here, we just have to go here and modify. If by any chance it does some mess in the line work, we just modify code. Sometimes they forget to put like, for example, like they put like a site feature concrete SFC, they forgot to put the F, they put the NSC. Of course, now with the Trimble, the one that I made, it would be hard every time because it's picked from a list, so it would be much easier stuff. So this is like filter finish, it does, all amazing job, but it was like, as long as it's coded the right way.
Yeah, and that's why we do everything in TBC, because once you get it in here, it's sort of unforgiving as far as point edits and editing feature lines and everything else. You can see the line work in TBC.
Now you see like,
change the point codes there.
So you see like here, like the issue that we have like here is you're gonna see like, here on the semi should have like, it should have like a survey figure, it doesn't have it, yeah. That's because, you know, the requirement is that all, it's also in manually, the requirement is that all of our line work codes should have a number after them. Should match it. So for example, like here should be like, you know, should be a CL1. So you cannot use just the BC packet curve. It should be BC1, BC2, BC3.
You have to use it?
Yeah, yeah, so it was like that.
Huh.
So pretty much all of our line codes, you know, they have like, you know, if you look at the tool space here, I'm gonna go back to my survey, I'm gonna go to my points and then description key sets.
So if you do a BC begin and a BC end, it won't work, it has to be BC1?
It has to be BC1 because, you know, you're gonna see right here, so pretty much that's the one that makes the difference in between like lines and symbol shots, yeah?
Right.
So you're gonna see like, you know, I have a BC, we have an asterisk, right? As soon as you
Yeah.
put the asterisk, that's the
Right.
one that calls for a number, you know? So if it just finds the BC and stuff, you know, you're gonna have that's gonna issue. But that's nice about like, you know, let's say if you survey like a road, you have a BC1 here, you have a BC2 on this side and stuff. So
Right,
as long as you have a start and end, you can use BC1 across the whole of it, you know?
yeah.
Or, you know, it's up to your stuff, you just have to use that number.
Yeah, we don't have to do that in ours. We just have it set up where, so if you have something that's, you're using like two codes on, like it's power pole and it's
Mhm.
also an overhead electric,
Mhm.
you just have to use the feature code first before the line code. If you use the line code first, you won't get the symbol for the feature.
Okay.
So you've got to do, it can't be OE power pole, it's got to be power pole and then OE, and then you get both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, like, you know, because the still 3D, I tried also to make the difference between like line work and what symbology. So that's the asterisk, you know, calls, you know, for number and stuff.
Right.
And lots of times with issues, like, it's easy for me to track if everything is BC. I can
Right.
find, if for example, like, you know, if the curve is on this side is BC1, I should be able to find all of them to be BC1. If it's already BC, it would be like trying how to, you know, start.
Right.
So I kind of, you know, simplify. Yeah, you can use BC1, BC2. And this doesn't matter the people in the field, you know, they say like, you know, I start BC1, you start with BC3, you know, and we don't mess with our stuff. As long as you have the start and end, you're good on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the stuff, of course, I create the surface, you know, how we're not gonna do that one, because it's easy to do it. I guess everybody knows how to do it and stuff. Now, if I go back to here, OpenRoadsDesigner, maybe we should do the OpenRoadsDesigner.
Compare.
Yeah, so OpenRoadsDesigner, they should bet you have like OpenRoadsDesigner, like, you know, CLFD, you have the styles. You know, CLFD, the styles, it's, you know, it's starting the CAD file and stuff. Now, it's pretty much, you know, the way it's created. In the CAD file, it's right there, yeah. What OpenRoadsDesigner is like pretty much, you know, when you start, you know, let's say with an empty CAD, with an empty file, it copies the style from a DGLib, it copies to the, you know, to the file, you know. And the issue is like, you know, if by any chance you want to update the stuff, you're gonna have hard. So pretty much, you know, your standards were to be like, you know, rock solid.
Yeah.
This is what I noticed, at least, you know. So I'm gonna have here, I'm gonna say maybe a new file here. You're gonna see that we have our own PWSD NCS workspace. You can have another, I guess we don't have it here, but, you know, usually we have another one, which is legacy. Because in the past we had like layers, we had EX underscore and PR underscore. So now everything is NCS, and I make a, you know, I make a distinction between what's legacy and what's NCS.
Right.
But everything from now on it's NCS, so it's going to see NCS, whatever. So I'm going to say new file. Then I'm going to say here, going to be like, you can see I have to browse to stuff, and this is the same one, exact one. You start from that template. And the reason you start from that template is because it has, you know, only the settings. I will show like when I'm looking at stuff. So I'm going to say this is a test, I guess. Demo or something. Anyway, I will say save. Now, with everybody was praising MicroStation, oh, so fast it moves, how fast it moves. Now, every release of OpenRoadsDesigner, it moves slower and slower. It's like pretty much, you know, it catches up with, you know, still 3D. Unable to acquire a license, I don't know what it's on, you know, pretty much, I didn't have an issue in the version 1 of OpenRoadsDesigner. As soon as I update to version 2, it was like, I'm supposed to have another license for some other stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's that. I have a support ticket with them. The other issue that we have, you know, OpenRoadsDesigner is like the styles for the surface, they have a bug in it.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you know, the objects, you know, the components of the components of the surface, they say the contours and stuff, they take the properties of the parent. So it's like if you think about CLFD of the surface object, you're placing a V-topo layer. Now the components, like the contours, we have V-topo major contour, V-topo minor contours.
All mapped to that.
Yeah. Now in CLFD it works, you know, because, you know, if I change, you know, the V-topo major contour to be red, they're gonna print red, or, you know, depending on stuff, you know. Now what happens in OpenRoadsDesigner, they take the properties of V-topo. It doesn't matter what you change stuff, they just still print in originally topo. And it's a bug, it's a big bug, I know, it's like, we should fix it. But anyway, here's like, I have, my stuff in here. I don't know if everybody's familiar with OpenRoadsDesigner.
No.
It's so cumbersome. Okay, let's say so pretty much if the OpenRoads model, this one is exactly same as you have like, let's say in Seal3D, just to make a comparison. It's the same exact, and I don't want to have side by side. Did I open too many? So it's the same exact if you go to the tool space, the OpenRoads, wow, looks like I have stuff here. It's the same one if you go in prospect here. It's the exact same thing, pretty much they try to kind of image the stuff in here. So these are stuff, so you're gonna expand here, you're gonna see that you have alignments, terrain models, exactly the same stuff. So I guess the way we're looking at stuff is pretty much, whether you work in Seal3D or OpenRoadsDesigner, you kind of find the same stuff.
Well, and a lot of, I explain to a lot of people, it's, you have to go through the same steps, methodologies.
So you have a terrain model, you have here contours existing, and you have like, looks like I have a topo, why have a topo? Well, yeah, it's because I have a surface already generated, but I add that up to it, yeah. But, so I have like, the terrain model, let me see in here. So you have the sheet index, I don't care about, this is the one you're gonna look at, and this one. So we have two parts, first you look at the survey. This is the survey data, pretty much, all the data that's important, this is your survey database, kind of stuff. All the data that's important is importing here with the field books. Now, before you do any of the stuff, you have to make sure that, you assign the right settings to the field book, like how it pretty much is the same like in Seal3D survey database where it's like, use this line set and use this code set to, process the data. So if I go in here, if I go to the settings here, I'm gonna say properties, it pops up to the left in here. And you can see that, it says the current state is set to 0. If I go on the drop down here, so before you start your stuff, make sure it's, point to COESD or I guess whatever is going to be the public works or CDBus, no, maybe stuff. But right, it's a COESD. And I'm going to show you like, where the one comes from. So I'm going to just close this one up in here, and I'm going to go to the OpenRoads standards, and I go service standards, and I'm going to go here, see, this nice about MicroStation, I like this is the DGN leaves behind. Of course, Seal3D, you can kind of match it with, like, for the legacy of the OverCAD part, you can match it with the joint standards attached to the CAD file, which is, hey, some of our standards, and also, like, the master, the Seal3D styles associated, if you know, like, stuff. So pretty much, it's a combination of both those ones. But in here, you have, like, pretty much understands you have the libraries. So you see here, the libraries are attached to this file. You take a little bit, looks like everything is slow in OpenRoadsDesigner. So if you're familiar with Seal3D, you can wait. It's the same one and stuff. So once it opens, you're gonna see which ones are attached. You're gonna see like feature. You pretty much have feature definitions. I do not go through the whole stuff. What's what? Because it's a little, it will take maybe another hour. Maybe you should have another session of what's what and how it works. We can do the stuff. Feature symbologies, annotation groups, and the one you're looking at is the service settings right in here. So we're gonna see like right. This is the service settings from the template, pretty much from the DGN lead. It's pretty much from the master template. They come to your file. So this is pretty much beside the settings in your file. These are the settings in the in the all attached master files. And this is the settings in your file. So if I go here to the service settings, if I go this one, I'm gonna say this one is the exact copy right there. I'm gonna say properties. So I got the properties, going to say the same stuff. You might, what's control points, how we're going to link it. If I go on this one, expand on this one, I'm going to say like, their codes. I match them Seal3D, start, PC, PT, whatever stuff. I was like, I don't even bother the rest of the other ones because I'll never use them. So only the common ones, start, PC, what to end, it's a E, close figure, to be like a CF, I guess, should be. Like a close shape, close, I don't know what's the close point.
Do you have to change, like if you're using a space as a delimiter in CAD, does that need to be changed in MicroStation?
In MicroStation, so what I do with stuff is like pretty much, like MicroStation has issue with like, okay, Seal3D has nice, the spaces, yeah, because
right.
like it's like, okay, the first code, the second code, the third code, is the second code for the size, you're good, amazing.
Right.
In MicroStation, you have issue with the space, delimiter, and
it cuts off like that.
What happens is like, instead of, using, it uses a template up to a point and it generates extra feature. By using like pretty much, looking at the space, it generates you stuff. Like for example, if I say, let's say I have like RF, and then, or maybe something like, RF, or maybe some nail for some stuff when it says public works. You're gonna create, the RF. You can also create one that says for public works, another point. pretty much codes. I'm like, I don't need that stuff. I just want the simple one to be clean,
Yeah,
So because what I do is like, I take the seal 3D or the, let's say, point file,
right,
and where's the space after the first code? Let's say for the line control codes, it's the PC or start, pretty much I keep those ones in place. But anything after that one, it would be a / it's an escape, it would be a comment.
yeah.
So,
That's what we do too, we just use semicolons instead of.
or some stuff, whatever
Yeah.
stuff. So if you look in here, I'm gonna say the description separator is this one, the /
Right.
So as soon I go put the whole text file, and I put that stuff, It's not, it doesn't take a lot, you can do a bit of, let's say, Excel goodness, it makes it stuff for you, but it's the stuff. I don't want this attribute separator for, I did not bother with it, I leave it as default, it does the stuff. I didn't even go for, let's say you can exclude features, like you see here. Okay, so true, batch means code, you see like here after point field code. So pretty much, you can put, your start, back curve or anything, or, but it's pretty much you try to match still 3D. The start is after the field code. I didn't even go for this one, I left them as default because I don't even use them. And then at the bottom in here, you're gonna see that pretty much it says like observation template, do not bother. The tray model will be called topo, so I just give you a surface, you can place it on, use the serial counter existing, style, surface style, and then maximum triangle length, for us is set to 100. And this is our standard, it's 100, that's for the triangle length, and that's for me to be able to check your surface if you don't have enough points. So if by any chance you miss the backward curve shot or some, let's say, center line shot, you can have a big hole in the surface. It's like, hey, you're supposed to have a point. But, that's a way for us to check. So, and to import the data, it's pretty, I guess it's easy. You just change, here looks like everything, it's in drop downs here. I guess in Seal 3D, you use for Seal 3D only, or, you go through the workspaces. Here we have a workspace for almost everything, but you're going to be set on the survey. You're going to go to the field book. You're going to go here and say, get the field book from a file. You can say from a file. And then I'm going to go find the file here. I'm going to look for the file. I'm looking for the same file. Actually, I'm not looking for a modified file. Pretty much, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go to the temp. I'm going to go to the review. And I'm going to go to this one. And the one I used before it was this one. It's still 3D. The one that I modified is this one. I'm going to say here, I'm going to edit it with Notepad before I import it, so I'm going to give you an idea. So I'm going to say, like, pretty much you see, like, tree / So for everything that's not supposed, like, so like and water meter / otherwise you're going to create me another point that says, like, code for this number. Unless I do not need those ones, yeah. So pretty much for anything that's not, let's say line code or stuff, I put a / I go through all this stuff, yeah. It's a bit more time, but it does the job.
So you could set CAD up to have a slash and be able to use it in both though, right?
Yeah, you could. But it's like pretty much, you'd figure out, where you're gonna put where you're gonna cut up the code, because Seal 3D needs the. I actually, maybe some of it, maybe I could add to make it, to use the slash everywhere.
Right.
But then, I'm just trying to figure out where you're gonna put, the slash, the guy in the field gonna put the slash.
Yeah.
I can do it in the office, it's much faster than just use the correct code in the field. So I have, that one, I'm gonna just close this one, Notepad, and I'm gonna open this one, I'm gonna say open. And it gives you pretty much some options here for stuff, This one's got predefined, you can customize them, but I was like, I didn't make one, this is PNEZDN, because, I didn't stuff, I just made stuff, I might add it, but for now, there's a way to define these ones, but I'm not gonna get stuff, so pretty much should be command delimited, stuff, click apply. And when I say click apply, it comes up with something, hopefully. It is the file. Loading points. Failure. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to go in here, and you're going to see that I have my whole stuff. They say the stuff, even create the surface, because I put it in create the surface too. So you're going to see that I have everything, nice. I have all my, my symbology and stuff. See how slow it moves? I don't know. It's because of my stuff. But it's because of the surface, the whole stuff, and you can see like this are my trees. I can take this care of stuff, Seal 3D, push it back in, open stuff, or put it in Trimble, take it from Trimble, the whole stuff,
Does the city get much survey data in MicroStation?
Yeah, we get sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, especially for the corridor mobility stuff.
Yeah.
The guys work on the big big stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be a lot easier for us on stuff where we have point cloud data to be able to just have a microstation deliverable.
Yeah, I mean, what's nice about it, it looks like, bits, I don't know, like, what's the stuff, at least, there's the issue is like, if you're like on a project with, I guess at least corridor mobility, they have like both CLS and also takes that involvement.
Right.
Even though like, the thing is like, we made design in still 3D, not an issue, give it to TechStat, as long as the TechStat is not the designer, it's the approval authority.
Right.
We could do stuff in still 3D and TechStat, we just look at the paper, that's always, we don't care about the model.
Right.
But once it's a TechStat project, this actually TechStat, stuff, that's where you have the whole stuff. But we have projects that, we had TechStat as an authority, it was like TechStat actually road and stuff, but it's part also of the city. We didn't have issue with this stuff. We didn't have to design microstation and stuff, so it's nice and stuff. So this is the stuff, you're gonna see this is the surface in OpenRoadsDesigner, it gives you detail for you, lots of stuff there. But it's easy and stuff, and I mean, it's up to a point easy. But it's very cumbersome because of the styles, I mean, you have to define the stuff you're gonna see here. It took me forever. To go through stuff, because I had to go from a SMD file, I have to go to element templates and stuff.
Mhm.
And I have to go here, if I go to manage, you see I have to go here for the, let's say, landscape road, linear feature, I have to go and define each of these ones. I mean, I import them at the beginning and stuff, I just have to remap them and stuff. There's like, if, I don't know if people know like Big and stuff, but there's a package from Bentley that allows you to convert an SMD file to, to import it in OpenRoadsDesigner to make it faster. So you don't necessarily have to go and do everything from scratch.
Does it work pretty well?
Huh?
Does it work well?
It worked. The thing is like, when I used it, it
Uh,
gave me a fail error. It was like, it's the same like you go in AutoCAD, it gives you like a big fail error of like error stuff, you think, okay, you're still in the software.
right.
So I was like, like crap, this doesn't look like to do the whole stuff. But I just dismissed that one, and then I would look at the stuff, it actually very important. I was like,
It is important. Save.
yeah, I was like, save and done, I'm done with stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to go through the whole stuff, point cells and stuff.
Robert, please, sorry, we can just tell me what-
Yeah.
The issue that I had in Geopak is with the issue that I had in Geopak is with the points and stuff. Like, so for example, like if you have like the axis or the circles for us, I issue with circles. Now what is like, it was nice for lines and stuff because of stuff, but as soon as you go, let's say if you use, if I want to use a specific, like in Geopak, I could have done it like in SSP, I could have used a single cell and then, use it for multiple, let's say codes and put it in the right layer. So pretty much you take the cell, move it in the right level, and it takes the properties of that level.
Right.
OpenRoadsDesigner, you cannot do it. I have to define a cell for each type of
Every-
node. So right now I have a node curve, so pretty much this one goes in the curve layer, so pretty much I have to go for each of those. That's the issue, this stuff. We have this stuff. Here, like pretty much here, the level here doesn't matter. You can put any level stuff, in the active cell, pretty much you just put what level is that active cell defined on. Because for me, everything was placed in the same layer, and I was like, you know what, I want to be able to have, these circles, in the right levels, like, curve and all that stuff, yeah. So this is for like, OpenRoadsDesigner, it's not that hard to use, what I'm doing right now is like pretty much, I'm done, I'll be done with the survey, I'm gonna push a new survey package back out, for the consultants to use, and I'm gonna have CL3D, OpenRoadsDesigner, Geopak, and Trimble all in one. And we're not going to focus on the civil, development, pretty much alignments and the whole stuff, because it takes the whole stuff. But I'm trying to do everything, here for the OpenRoadsDesigner. And then since we have only time on here, I'm going to look at the TBC.
Yeah. But you were saying you still couldn't get the trees to work in.
No, I can do, okay, so what is nice about, I can do it in Geopak. So in Geopak, I can use the SIL 3D, let's say the PNECD file, the text file, without the stuff, using the stuff. So what happens with one? I tell it like, use my delimiter code, it's a space. I process the points first time. So I do not process both at the same time. I process the points first, then I process the line work. When I ask to process the line work, I ask you if you want to import the points again, pretty much the whole stuff. No, the way again. I import the points first, he processes it, and the trees are scaled the right way. Once the stuff, I import the data again to process the line work. But when I tell you, when he imports the data, I tell you to not override the points. Pretty much just process the line work, skip the point. And so pretty much, the points are the right way, the line work is processed, and I have the right file. I cannot do the same stuff in OpenRoads. I can do it only in Geopak cases too. So I guess for the trees, you're gonna be happy with whatever, I guess whatever you do, like, you know. So I'm gonna go and try to connect here. Let me see if via VPN, I'm gonna try to connect here to my remote machine that I have, what's called, TBC. But the thing is like, you know, and that's I'm trying to figure out what's my issue with my machine. My laptop is like what? I have like 16 gigabytes or some stuff and stuff, but for some reason my OpenRoadsDesigner gives me a blue screen. I mean, but it goes, you know, pushes the, no, the OpenRoadsDesigner, TBC. It takes the RAM all the way to 100% and it crashes. The whole stuff, blue screen, the whole stuff. So I'm just feel like if it's a matter like, you know, I don't have the issues on what's called on my towers on my laptop. My towers have like 32 gigabytes. My machine has 16, maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's I think might be the issue. Because we say like the TBC, this is the minimum RAM for scanning is 32 gigs.
Oh.
So if you use scanners like the whatever the
One file.
SX10 or some stuff, this is 32 gigs. I'm like crap. Even like, you know, in here, even the even the FXL file to take, you know, to open it, like I'm like, what did they do to this, you know, to the stuff? So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna say feature definition manager. That's pretty much, you know, how you started, where you can edit the, you know, the point codes and all stuff. Now, if Geopak OpenRoadsDesigner took like maybe a week to do this stuff, this one took maybe like a day and a half to do the whole stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
On TBC?
yeah, to generate, you know, the FXL file. So I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna open my FXL file. It's gonna be like this survey, which is my it's the NCS for survey, so stuff. So I have like, you know, here the line code sets, you know, close line, pretty much this one. It's, you know, the same one, pretty much imagine CF, close, you know, stuff. Now here in the new category, I have, you know, all my points. I have benchmark found, and the whole stuff here. And I have the points with the symbology, and then I have, you know, the line work. So pretty much you can see the baseline. Now, what's nice, what's not nice. In TBC, the issue you're gonna have is like, you know, I cannot use, you know, a line specific, for example, like, you know, this is baseline, yeah? In Seal3D, if I use the BL1, in Seal3D, I can, I can use it like, for example, I can use it for line work, and the point itself, I can symbolize with a circle.
Mm-hmm.
In here, I cannot do that, you know. So pretty much, you know, it's like, you know, so what happens here, you're gonna see that in here for, let's say I use the BL, I cannot use the BL again for the point, as a point code. It has to be like for example, like the way it's like, you know, if you have to like, you know, it has to be like a BL-S for symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and there has to be a BL-L for line. So you have to separate the line. It cannot be one point that can be used for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
For the symbology. So the issue we're gonna have, you know, like let's say here, like, you know, if in Seal3D, let's say send line, yeah, the send line in here in Seal3D, the way it be symbolized, it's used for the line works, and you can have the send line on line work. But also, if I get the point, I have the circle, the symbology, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In TBC, I don't have that one because, you know, there's no place here to put a symbol. So if you look in here, I have the CL. There's no place here to put a symbol for the point.
It doesn't give you a node for it?
Hmm?
It doesn't give you
It
a
gives you a
node?
node, but it doesn't give you the one I want. I want the
Oh,
circle.
yeah. Oh, gotcha.
I want the circle. It doesn't give you the circle. So for these ones, you know, I have the issue with stuff. But, you know, here's pretty much the same way as I said, pretty much I went, you know, for the whole. Now the issue that I have with this one is like pretty much the symbology is the crappiest stuff and stuff. It does the job, but, you know, it doesn't. Pretty much you can import like all the CAD blocks. So it matches the whole stuff, you know. You can see that I have the layers. Now what you're gonna be using the FXL is the layers, the level manager. It's not like you can import stuff from AutoCAD.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can import from DWG, use an XML file, and the XML stuff, you know, you're gonna see like if I go here, you can see layer manager. You can see I have my layers here. Now all this stuff is like if I go here, I want to import. You can see that here I have to have a layer file. Another file itself, it's an XML file. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now these ones here, like, you know, these colors here, they do not use AutoCAD colors, they use, you know, RGB value colors. Like, you know, if you look at the XML file value, for example, for a Y to be like FFFFF, the hex ASCII. So it's an issue with stuff. So pretty much what I do is like pretty much, you know, the layers, how I imported them, it was very easy. I don't know, do you guys create them or import them, the layers?
Import them with
Okay.
yeah.
So the layers, it's very easy to import them. You can, you know, pretty much you can import the CAD file And then you have all the layers. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you just drive your template in there and have it all.
Yeah.
populate.
You know, stuff. But you know, the issue is like, you know, is like once I put the layers and stuff, you know, then I have to go for each of these ones and define the colors. Pretty much I have to go and define the colors. It doesn't take the AutoCAD colors in any shape or form. Everything looks white, pretty much stuff. So pretty much I have to go for the stuff, you know, match them to the, you know, to the AutoCAD one, yeah. So I have the stuff here. If I go back to my, let's say to my, the only stuff that has to be scaled in here, there has a little bit attributes, as you say, like attributes. You can say by strapping a head, like that. So if you have to map a head sign on the ground, I have a striping ahead.
Right.
And the only one that required, let's say the only one that required the attributes or the landscape trees, the trees. So imagine the start. So I'm gonna see the landscape tree, and I did it. I have like, you know, this is my code, the LSTR, and then I have the common type and I have an extended type. So pretty much the common type is the one that you typically like to see. And if you know pretty much is required, you have to type it in, not type it in, you have to select it from the list. So you have like, you know, lots of, you know, stuff here, and this is how I want to see them, live oak stuff, you know, there's nothing else, you know. So I'm gonna start here, and then for extended type, you know, it's pretty much, you know, any other trees. So I give you a common one, common list, and then any other trees that are not common, but that still takes us in the list and stuff, you can go in the extra list and use it from there. And then if it's a multi-stem or single stem, it gives you an option to do the MS, and then the diameter, how you gonna put it.
Is that only making the edit in TBC, or is that editing the actual point coding?
No, it's just the TBC
Okay.
for the attributes in the field. So the guy's gonna field maps the tree, you know,
Yeah,
go in the
yeah,
tablet and stuff,
okay.
you know. But it's for the tree only, and you know, it does the job and stuff. Now, of course, you're gonna wonder why I have so many circles there. There's a reason for all those circles.
Half diameter.
Yeah, the CRC, the full, you know, half CRC is for design purposes. It helps the guys, you know, to know like what they can, you know, cut and not, you know, stuff. But this is the what's called. This is the file. It took me like, you know, not so much to define it. So if I go back to TBC here, I'm gonna use, you know, to import, you know, the I don't know which, do you guys use the latest version 5.10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to keep updating because the data collector files update all the time, and you can't, they're not compatible if you let them get too far apart. So it's,
Why Magnail instead of Magnail? God. Uh-huh. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new project here. I didn't create, you know, the full stuff for it, you know, like my own templates for the stuff. I just, you know, pretty much, you know, the way I would do it. Of course, it's because I know it, people, you know, stuff. So I guess like, you know, US, I guess survey footing here, I just select, you know, this one. Yeah. The issue that we had for this one, we had like an older version of Trimble, and the issue you have licensing, like it's concurrent use or the kind of stuff, where you have license server, because, you know, before 5.10, you had to have a physical server to host license server. But you started like this version 5 or stuff, and like you can put your license server on a VM. So I can get away from a physical stuff. Now right here, what I'm gonna do, the first thing you're gonna do here, go here to the project settings, and you're gonna go here where it says like, you know, pretty much a feature code processing, and he's gonna ask you to feature definition file. That's gonna start. So once you start here, now I guess, you know, every time you process this stuff, if you made some modification with the FXL, you have to operate and load it again, that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna say here, I'm not very familiar with TBC. Pretty much, that's why I like, you know, I learn the software as I play around with it. It's like, you know, I can find my, you know, my way around the stuff. I did survey with, like, you know, pretty much I did with toll station, GPS, scanning, all the stuff. So I use, you know, stuff, I use like a lot of stuff. But here I have my points, you know, so if I go here, survey, I'm gonna say import in here. And I'm gonna find in here, this is my, you know, the same CSV file and stuff here, I'm gonna say import. Now here I'm gonna ask you here, which version, I don't know why it's 6 with PEN, I guess maybe I have to put in the stuff. I'm gonna say, I don't know, controller unknown, I can say unknown for now. PNADC next, blah, blah, I guess another stuff. There you go, I guess figure out here the control, the central on the side. This how they look, you know, when you put them white, there's the stuff, yeah. That's because you have to process them. So when you process them, you're gonna go here to the survey, you're gonna click on this button, you're gonna select, you know, what you want to process, you're gonna say just process the sources. Once the process is processed, you know, there you go, you get the whole stuff. Pretty much, you know, you want to see the report? No, I don't care. Looks like all the stuff. This one looks like, you know, recognize the CL. I didn't have to have a CL1, CL stuff, it recognizes the CL. So if you use your CL 3D as your field to finish, like you're using the city one, you have to do CL1, CL, you know, all that stuff. If you do this one, it looks like, you know, it can generate everything for you.
Right.
So you don't have to worry too much about it. And then, you know, once you've done this stuff in here, you can go and create the surface. And I guess creating the surface, it's easy.
Yeah.
It took me like 2 minutes to figure out how to do it, but
I keep a running surface going just to make sure the stuff works. It's really easy in here to do it. You can kind of keep it, you can look at it real quick, you can look at it in 3D.
yeah, so create the surface here. I'm gonna say like new surface. I'm gonna say the best. I guess I know. I'm not familiar with stuff. I'm gonna say like, you know, select. I'm gonna say options here. I'm gonna select all, because you know right here it says include, you know, the ones that are supposed to be. It has the toggle for including the surface. You know,
Yeah.
stuff. And
If you've got them, if you have the survey layers in there, you can also just select it by layer like you would and take out all the utilities and stuff that you wouldn't use for a
Yeah.
surface anyway, the trees or whatever.
yeah, but anyway, the utilities, you know, the only stuff, you know, the only part of the utilities values for survey, for topo, it will be only the survey shots like the paid markings.
Right.
Those guys, you know, because that one actually is a true shot, natural gun shot.
Right.
I use that one. But for the rest of the stuff, you're gonna start, so I click here, apply, and it triangles for you, it makes it nice. I guess you can visualize it beautiful if you go to the home tab. I don't know if I remember here, it's a 3D view, and it creates here a 3D view, and then if you go in here and do the whole, it was like
Right.
beautiful color.
So that's the first thing I'll do with the previous day's data, just because it's easy. It's a quick check for if they need to go back and do something, or if something doesn't look
Mhm.
right, or.
Looks like, you know, that's like, and our guys, you know, they do a very good job at, you know, like, you know, mapping even the, this was done by in-house, but even the stairs. Because the thing is like, what we're trying is like, you know, our final purpose is for surveys, like, you know, it's not to just design the surface, we try also to use it for like visuals.
Right.
So if I want to go to the infrared model, I want to see the wall. I want to see the wall the way it's mapped, you know. So it sounds like, you know, if you go to survey cam manual, when I say like, you know, how you take shots for the wall, I see some people, and I got the kind of surveys where they take a shot on the same line of the wall. If it's like a 12-inch wall and other stuff, he's like, no, I want you to take shots, you know, on each edges,
Right.
and also at the bottom of natural ground shot, because I want to be able to triangulate beautifully around the stuff. So that's nice and stuff, you know. So it has to be like sectional
Yeah.
stuff.
Props lined up.
So this is like your stuff, you know, and that sounds like, you know, if there's any other package it should be developed for, I guess, you know, I can look into stuff, you know, but, you know, I don't have access to like house and all other stuff, so it's pretty much, you know, Trimble and the rest of the stuff. You know.
Mhm. In the city CAD template,
Mm-hmm.
you have, if I'm remembering correctly, you have that set up to auto-populate when you bring the points in, the surface points.
Yeah.
Where does that set up at?
So if I look at the city here, the surface points I'm going to show you like here. So pretty much if you go to the settings, if I go to the points, if I go to the point, no, where's the point groups? Because I have to always find myself here. Point groups, oh sorry, it's in the right place. So I'm going to have here, I'm going to say here update all this stuff, yeah. So what happens in here, update, there you go, yeah.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, so pretty much I have a topo DTM and topo non-DTM.
Mhm.
So pretty much, you know, what's on the topo DTM is pretty much all the points we're going to be using the surface.
Right.
Non-DTM is where the points that are not going to be using the surface. And the way this one's very defined, if you go here to properties, if I go to properties, you're going to see that I have properties, include. So this is pretty much all the points. I have to make a list of all the points that I'm going to put in the surface.
Right.
So I have stuff. Now what's nice about this stuff here is like when I go like, you know, I have to define them all in one place. Because, you know, the number of points in the surface is usually smaller than the number of points non-used on the surface. So I go with the small one. So I put in all my points in here, and the beauty about this stuff, if you go to the topo non-DTM, if I go hit the properties, just look at the properties of the stuff. This ones I didn't do that one, so if you go in here, if I go here to include, see there's nothing there. It's like, hey, how do you get those points? There's a beauty about, you know, by using query builders. So pretty much, you know, select all the points
That's just everything.
that are not
on that
part of the
area.
topo DTM.
Gotcha.
So all the other points, it's easy for you to kind of sort in between those ones.
So how did you get it to populate that on it? It just reads it when you do the import?
Yeah, so when you do the import, you know, in tool space here, when you do the import, you know, the first time it's not populated, yeah?
Yeah.
So what you have to do here is like, you know, you either go on the top of here and say update groups, Update, you know, like he update, you know,
Yeah.
stuff, we go in each of them, say update, you know, it's
Okay.
one of the two, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it does, you know, it does a nice job and stuff, you know. Of course, you know, we prefer the stuff in survey databases just because of the legal part of it, where I wanted the survey to be responsible for your stuff, I don't want to modify your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, because, you know, a survey point, a Google point, I can modify, a survey point, I cannot.
Right.
Do the stuff. And
Yeah, that's the whole reason we use it too, is it's not, we know we delivered and it's gonna stay that way, you know.
yeah,
and it-
I mean, I can modify Surface, I can do lots of stuff, but I cannot modify your source data.
Right.
And the issue with you have lots of stuff on Surface when you say like for the surveys, like, you know, do not add data for stuff that you miss in the field. Like, do not interpolate here just because, you know, you can, you know, sort of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that surface file and the template too, it doesn't, if you go in there and make it, if you try and flop a bunch of bases and do a bunch of stuff, it doesn't really hold those edits, does it?
No, it holds it.
Does it?
It's holds because, okay, it's because the survey database, the points were stored somewhere else.
Right.
They're read from somewhere else. I mean, they're in the file, you know, but, you know, in order to modify, you have to go to that somewhere else. The surface is just matter. I can delete it, I can make anything I want to it, you know, but of course,
Right.
I always have, you know, the original to it, you know, stuff. But, yeah, lots of times, you know, if I look at the surfaces, you know, that's one of the biggest issues that I have, you know, is like too much the order of the sequencing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, what I should be able to see in the surface should be like points, break lines, boundary, whatever, edits and boundary, whatever, you know, stuff. But, you know, it's like, and I guess I showed you once, you know, like how you can add your boundary and remove all the edits for the triangles for outside. Because it's much easier stuff, you know, so pretty much, you know, my surfaces usually they have like maybe only 10 editing steps. Because the break lines should take care of, if the right way, this is my head. The best, if you do the right thing in the field, the break lines and stuff should take care of all, you don't have to flip stuff around.
Right. Well, and I don't like flipping it because if for some reason you have to regenerate the surface, you lose all that, you know, it doesn't.
No, it's still saved. It's still saved, you know, just, you know, I'm gonna have to go through 100 steps of editing. I was like, you know, where did you flip this stuff, you know, or for example, like what happens is sometimes people, they delete the triangle at the edge, just like, I need this triangle, they're supposed to be on. Now I try to figure out where, did you modify every time, you know, to.
So what I do a lot of times, if I need to flip face and I want to track that, is I create an edit layer and then actually just draw a line to force it to flip the face. And then that way, you know, if for whatever reason I have to regenerate something or whatever, I've got that line as a record.
Yeah, so the only time, you know, is like usually, I typically do not flip faces. Usually it's like I let the brace out do the job, and the other stuff I do is like pretty much, the only editing I do the surface, sometimes is add lines. To force the triangulation.
Yeah.
That's the only stuff, because it's much easier
Yeah,
than
yeah.
flipping faces.
Add some break lines in a separate layer that's, you know, so you can track that.
You
know,
can do that stuff, yeah.
Things that you've added to.
But yeah, it's like pretty much, you know, like lots of people, when they see stuff in the city, they hate me. Because I go to so detailed and stuff, you know, and stuff, so.
But you're trying to make it easier though, really.
No,
Even if it's.
the thing is like, you know, the way I look at stuff is like, and I do not question, you know, maybe like, you know, the quality of survey and stuff, you know, it's just a matter of, like, you know, it's like pretty much, like, I look is like the city is the same as a consultant, like, you know, for example, if you're hired by somebody, let's say a private entity, to deliver a product, you deliver high quality stuff, you know, experience stuff for the city, because it's not my money, it's the citizens' money, and I'm trying to give a good product to the citizens. So it's like, you know, I hate cases like, you know, I went in the survey meetings where the people just like, you know, it's like, you know, I worked for the city for 30 years, I never had to do this. Guess what? I'm here, and you have to do it.
Right. Well, and two, now, you know, with the model, you know, now that we're modeling things, you know, that carries
And I
down
find-
the years, you know.
What's nice about the model, simply this model, you know, I can find out, you know, I found, last times I found, for example, like, you know, instead of having a 6-inch drop curve, you have a bus somewhere and it shows like a foot. Or some other stuff, I'm like, you know, I can see visually because I'll go along with the 3D view and I can see the surface around it, it's nice. Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, years ago when we did on paper, it didn't matter as much, but now that we hand down the model year to year.
So yeah, that's pretty much like survey and like, you know, stuff, we have it, you know, for everything, you know, of course, you know, and I'm always like, you know, open to suggestions of what should I add and stuff. For example, I've seen like, and I pick up from lots of people like, you know, stuff, for example, we didn't have the paper markings. But if we thought about it, you know, it's like, you know, hey, I've seen surveyors doing this stuff. You know, I give you the option to do it, you know, if it's required, you know, at least I give you, you know, the tools to do it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have to create your own, stuff,
Well, so when we have to do traffic control, then the paperwork is, important for us because we didn't know.
Yeah, so I give you a code to do it, to map it, if you have to do it. But, it's like, the better is pretty much you still have to abide by what's in the contract, what's supposed to stuff.
Yeah.
So,
When does your survey manual go live? When are you gonna have that?
it's already live, back to 2017, you can find it, so if you go like.
Your new and expanded version?
Or expanded, in the next, I guess, maybe month or so.
Okay.
Because I, at this moment, I'm finalized with the whole survey template and stuff, and I'm trying, so what I'm trying to deploy, in the online, to provide it to be the whole, pretty much I'm gonna provide online, this stuff for each of the versions. So pretty much, I'm gonna provide, it will not be like, this is the 2018, this is the only one you get. I provide you each, all of those ones. So pretty much you can pick, each of those ones in one of them,
Okay.
So what you're gonna do, on your machine or stuff, let's say you can copy the 2016 folder, you put it on the CR disk, seal 3D stuff, and run the shortcut from the desktop. And it runs pretty much the same setup that I have. But I'm trying to, finalize, the small details and stuff, because, the thing that people hate is like small modification that comes after the stuff, So usually with the survey camera stuff, it's like pretty much, you select, at the time you got your notice to proceed, that's the data that you're gonna use to other stuff, even though maybe a month later it comes up with some new stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we keep a track of the versions. So if your service is 20, let's say, usually our versions are gonna be year and month. So it'd be 2019.07.
Okay.
So pretty much you can see also the same stuff in the manual, what's changed, 2019.07, so you can know those stuff. But yeah, it's very expand the manual. I mean, it took me a lot
Does
of.
that include the Bentley also?
The Bentley, it's more like, pretty much general, the stuff,
Okay.
whether you're in Bentley and stuff, it has the same levels there, symbology, same exact one, names and stuff. So pretty much it applies to all stuff, It's only that we focus on still 3D, but provide the data. Of course, it includes the Bentley, the resources for you to do the stuff in Bentley.
Right.
So I'm gonna provide the stuff, but at the same time, let's say the Bentley, still 3D, let's say it's finalized, the OpenRoadsDesigner are gonna give you the preliminary with the idea that you have the survey already done. Only that we're gonna be added to the civil part of it, like chains and all that stuff, I'm gonna add that stuff. So as I'm trying to feel how can I push it to the user? Like, of course, you're gonna have to see all of this stuff. How can I push it the small updates to the user?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I wish you double click on that shortcut on this tab. You go somewhere like on the net, in the internet, check your stuff and get stuff, download the latest version and start your software. That's in my mind, but now I figure out how to make it work. Because I don't want to give you you can download a zip file, override your stuff and stuff. So small increments.
All right. Any other questions, anybody?
Questions, let's see here.
Anything anybody wants to talk about next month or coming up? Any ideas?
No ideas, but has anybody tried out the 2019.3 update?
I just saw it and installed it. I didn't look at anything that does. Why? Do you have any good news or bad news?
My corporate staff tells me that it fixes the bugs. They've told me they're testing it internally, and I'm waiting for them to allow me to install it across my entire office. But it is, at the moment, they're telling me good things about it. I usually get reality in here.
Honestly, being, listening to Tim and all them, man, I'll wait till September. I'm gonna go to 2020 or 20.1 in September is where I'm going. I'm gonna stay away from 19. I've heard too many horror stories about it.
Have you tried the beta yet of 0.1?
I've tried the beta and so far I haven't had any issues with it.
Okay. Yeah, because I just got it and what I'm interested in, I want to try the GIS Connect stuff.
Yeah, it's the big thing I'm really looking for there. So I'm kind of waiting on everything to really. The only thing is because they're fixing stuff in 19.3 and they're fixing it in all the versions. So I'm kind of waiting on, okay, if there's that many issues with all these versions, I'll stay at 18.3 until September.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm still on 2017, but my hands are tied. I got to use the version that my corporate is telling me I can use, and at the moment they want me on 19, and I'm refusing until the issues were fixed with, reason 19.3 came.
But
You
I
know.
think the 0.3 is pretty decent then.
I think it's gonna be pretty decent, but I don't think it is, in September, I'm looking at it as, it's right around the corner. Why am I gonna make a jump?
If I had the option to go to that, I would be in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, so I like to do it every other year myself. I would like to do it every 2, and I just happen to be on the even year. So we're on 18 now, and hopefully go to 20 here in a little while.
If, I'm all about upgrading, but it's gotta be, the features have to be there
Yeah,
to
yeah.
warrant an upgrade. So, like 19, I would've gone to 19, but all the horror stories and everybody's complaints, and then sitting on the forums with, the future stuff, and they're going, hey guys, we have this issue, this is an issue, this is an issue, this.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, I'm skipping 19. But no, it depends what's in there, and I'll go ahead and make the move.
For us, it's like we upgrade every year, but we match the year with the year. So pretty much, for us, the 2020 is gonna be upgraded in January of 2020. So pretty much, we're working 2020. So
Yeah, I also have that rule that it's gotta be 0.1 or higher before I make that move too.
Usually,
Yeah,
Let's stick with those rules.
yeah, usually the way we do it is like we have like the first one, I guess the first service pack somewhere like, within like 2-3 months after the stuff.
Mm.
And then the second service pack is usually after Otis University.
I'll trade.
Yeah, that's like, it's like in November.
Cause they always say, always get to go to that class and it's all, or that meeting and, hey, here's the next release and all this stuff, so. Yeah, and Autodesk is what, the 7th is registration opens?
Is anybody going this year? Well, you're probably going.
I've it in my improvement plan to go every year. It's just that, it's like I'm planning to have, I guess I'm planning to go on a trip with my family to Romania for my home, for like a month and a half.
Oh, great.
And I might hit, the whole stuff, so.
Right.
I'm sending 3 out of the Austin office, our transportation division sending at least 1 or 2. I think we're gonna have like 10 people from TRC, but from all the different sectors. So we have the remediation group sending a couple, the power delivery group, and substation design sending a couple. So yeah, there should be about 10 of us going this year.
Do they go usually to classes or so, or they involve also the beta stuff?
Just a little bit of everything.
Okay. Because usually, after like 8 years or so of Otis University now, I go only pretty much, to beta stuff.
Yeah.
I skip the classes.
Right.
I mean, I can go to that because usually it's nice, you stay at the door. And
Yeah.
they can let you in, so.
But, yeah. But it's nice when you get invited to like the stuff with the developers.
Yeah, the futures,
Right.
that's the nice stuff.
The future stuff, we run Pinnacle, so meeting with them in person.
Mhm.
ATG, I run some of their add-on software, so go meet with them in person. So I find that more valuable than actually coming to classes, but
Yeah.
they are good classes. It's just, as you said, this will be my 5th year going, and it's kind of the same class over and over and over again, and you have to really dig into I'll make a registration, I already got my passes, so as soon as they open registration, I can sign up. But the only problem is, I'll keep changing that, because I'll change when I actually see the syllabus, I'm like, no, that's not what I thought it was gonna be, so
Yeah.
let me go over here to this class, or.
Usually within 5 minutes of being in a class, I'm like, okay.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm out.
So,
I've gotten a couple of the 3D stuff, and people from somewhere else that English is their second language, and they have a real heavy accent, so I couldn't understand. So there's a couple of those that, as soon as they started talking, I'm like, "Yep, I'm gone. I'm gonna go find something else."
Or they'll do based on European transit
Yeah.
standards and stuff. And it's like, wow, okay, I get the overall idea of that.
Now I'm really interested in the GIS connector. Is what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, I guess what I want to get straight before I try to, get everybody else hooked in on it is just, the GIS end of it. It's like, okay, exactly what do I need to have my users, have available, and then, and kind of map out what that.
How to work with GIS online. There's a bunch of that kind of stuff that I'm really.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just waiting on seeing that. And then I also, now the Civil 3D and BIM 360 are starting to play nice, so I also will look into that a little bit more. You know, we run project-wise, and I have no issues with project-wise, it works pretty well. Especially we're doing the Bentley hosted in the cloud, but I'd rather stay with the Autodesk product if I can, and if it works that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking also at Build 364, we see for implement at the city, we see for pay apps and all that stuff.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
All right, well, it's 1:20 now, so
Mhm.
now everybody's gotta get back and be billable.
Yeah.
We're done, I'm done, thank God.
Thanks again, Ishka.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Always enjoy what you have to say.
And if you have any feedback or, I mean, like, stuff, you want to be added or stuff. Because I see like people like, for example, who's mapping roof drains and all that stuff, so, okay, I give you one for roof drain if you want to map it. But what I'm trying to do is stuff is pretty much